Well, I wish I could say that this is all of my truck collection, but it isn't. So this is inside the Diecast model room, and as I promised last week, I thought I'd show you some of my truck collection. So they're my first gear Max in 1/18 scale. Then we have the Oxford Diecast trucks. You can pick them up for about 20 quid. Really good detail. Then we have the Mini Champs from Germany. Extremely good value for money. And then we have the First Gear, that's an international, and the Narco tank that's made of cardboard. Then we have the Carrarama Volvo FH, Chris Bennett Heavy Haulage, I know Anthony Bennett. Then we have the signed Richard King reefer unit, that was a gift from Richard himself. That's the new S series from Techno. I'm not too sure how many of them were made, but I must check the card sometime. Waited over a year for that. They are mostly Herper, so 1/87 scale. So these are actually civilian trucks. Then we're going into the military trucks. Then we're going into my gorgeous racing transporter collection at the end of the video. That is a Scammell Crusader. Beautiful model from Corgi. That's a very rare Mercedes 911 from RW Models of West Germany. And then we have a Pegasaur coming up. That's very rare as well from Spain. There's my Matchbox truck collection. Absolutely love the old Matchbox. Massive fan of them. And of course, next week for my 26th, there'll be a hell of a lot more models added for the birthday, so I'm very looking forward to that. And I actually have new shelves that are going up. I'm sure they will be filled very quickly. So this is my main Corgi shelf. I started collecting Corgi Classics in September 2011, and that Ergomatic, that's the very first one that I actually collected. That Burley Sahara and Diamond T were very hard to get. Then you have Dinky, Corgi, Atlas Editions, Siku even. Got a very nice shelf that. Scammell 100 tonner from the late 1920s. Scammell Constructor. Beautiful Ford in there. I believe it's an S23. Then we have the Pegasaur, as I mentioned earlier. Very rare model. So then back to my main Corgi shelf there with a Jiao Fang on the end, Chinese. There's a Leyland Beaver from 1948. Very good looking trucks. Then we have the Scania P series from Humberside Fire and Rescue, Oxford Diecast. My favourite in the model room, Bedford All-Type. Then we have a rare Mercedes L5 lighting truck there from 1932. Matchbox models of yesteryear. So happy I acquired that last week. You don't know how long I've waited for that model. Then we have our Tomica collection. Not really that collectible in the UK. And then we have a very dear Matchbox. Very hard to get, but very happy I got that DAF 2800. Then we have the main Matchbox shelf again, full of the tankers. Then we have a Mercedes L5 and a Triang Leyland. And of course, if you are old enough, you will remember the Triang and Hornby trains of the 1930s, 40s and 50s. Triang was a very good maker of railway engines back in the day. And then we have the fire truck collection. I love fire trucks, and I like them because you can put so many different bodies on. And of course I love the old specialised units of the 50s and 60s. The very first model I collected 23 years ago was a JCB backhoe from Debenhams. That day I also left with a Terex excavator. And when you think that I've been collecting models that long, it's like, where the heck did the time go? How the room has developed in the last 10 years to accommodate my collection is just amazing really to see the transformation. So the fire trucks, I have quite a few Russian ones, French ones and American ones. Of course, you know I'm a massive fan of Leyland and Bedford, so I had to get a couple of Leylands as well. There's the Leyland Cub from 1936, that's the Leyland Works Fire Brigade engine as well. Again, Matchbox models of yesteryear. That is a Mercedes SK from New Rate circa 2000. Massive fan of that. That is a rare spot-on crane from Northern Ireland circa 1965. There's my steam wagon collection. There is the Carrier Bantam, and if you do collect models you will know how rare that is to collect. Very rare to get one in that condition as well, waiting many years to obtain one of them. Then of course we have the steam trucks, and that is part of my Lido's Days Gone collection. Lido, very easy to get hold of, and that's just a small fraction of my collection. That only came out of the box for the video. That's quite a new model of mine. Waiting to open it on the birthday, but why not look at it earlier. That is Mercedes 911 from THW, the German civil defense organisation. Then we have the airport fire truck from Siku, and a mobile telephone exchange. They are Russian, apart from the Chinese one on the end. Some of them are model kits and code 3s. That is an international. Apparently it's from Thomas the Tank Engine, but I never saw it on the series. I don't know about you. Then we have 2 boxes of trackside Oxford Diecast and Days Gone. Royal Air Force and Canadian Air Force. That Bedford OYD is of course Royal Canadian Air Force. So we're moving on to the military trucks now. I've never seen one, but I just had to get that Atlas Editions Falmore half-track and a Katusha, and they were actually named Stalin's Organ because of the sound. That's a very rare Renault HAN. Only 3 of them models I've seen in the UK. They are from Sanido from France. They run on wood and gas. That was of course the alternative fuels that Germany used circa 1942. That Maz missile launcher was a gift from my good friend in Australia last Christmas. There's the new Bloodhound missile set from Oxford Diecast. 2 Rios there. Diamond T model 980 with M19 trailer with Churchills on, and of course 2 Thornycroft Antars. We also have an O-Type, an AEC, 2 AEC command vehicles, and of course 2 Bedford QLs. That is a Bedford E, and there'll be more on that in another video, but that's made out of cardboard from my very good friend in Glasgow. Then we have the Opel Blitz and 21st Army Group Austin K6. Then we have the Royal Air Force Bowsers, Bedford QL and AEC Matador with a CCKW. And of course the Germans did capture Bedfords at Dunkirk. That's part of my memorabilia there. There's another beautiful OYD and an Hanimag 251. Creme de la creme, that is my 642 Fiat Ferrari Transporter by CMR Models, 1/18 scale. I wish it was a CMC, but we all know how much they cost. There's no way I can afford that. But yeah, lovely transporter, biggest and heaviest model that I have. Beautiful Martini Racing there, 1971 Le Mans, and a Porsche 917K to go with it. That green one, that's a Bedford TK. Year, I'm not too sure. I think it's around 1968. There's one of the posters as well. I'm very happy I got that. They're really hard to find in that good condition, so I actually obtained that off one of the model groups on Facebook. So yeah, one of my all-time favourite trucks. and definitely one of my all-time racing transports as well. Then last but not least, we have the Scania 4 Series from Corgi, early 2000s.